Welcome back to the second part of the tutorial on how to make an advanced maze game in GameMaker. If you remember from tutorial 1, we created a bunch of sprites and converted them into objects. And all those objects will be used throughout our game. We brought in a bunch of sounds to be used, a few different backgrounds, and we also created 3 rooms, which are 3 levels. This is level 1 in the game, where the little man just runs through the maze, collects some diamonds and heads to the finish line. When he hits the finish line, he'll move on to level 2, which is a bit harder, so we now have to collect all these diamonds before the red door pops open. You've also got a ghost to avoid, and you also got some new rewards. When we hit that finish line, we'll go on to level 3 now, which is the final level in our game. And as you can see, we've now got another white ghost here, which is a new one, and he's going to be moving a bit faster than those blue ones, and he'll be going left and right instead of up and down. We still have to collect all the diamonds to open this little red door. When we do open the red door, you can see we've got a trigger there, and we push that trigger, this bomb here is going to blow up, and then that rock will go with it. It'll just blow that rock up, and we can work our way into the finish line and end our game. So let's get started by opening up the object man. First thing I want to do with the little dude is make him move around our maze. So let's add in an event, and it's going to be a keyboard event, because we're going to use our arrow keys on our keyboard to make him move. So what I want you to add in is the left keyboard event, and the actions that will go with it are what needs to be done when we press that left arrow key. So the actions we want, first of all, go to the control tab, right click on this grid, which is called check grid. Just checks to see that our little man is inside the 32 by 32 grid, which he should be. When he's in that grid, he can move. So let's go to these bunch of red arrows, and we'll select left because we want him to move to the left at a speed of 4. Don't do another speed because it won't work properly, so stick with speed 4. Okay, we're going to keep doing that for the other keyboard arrows now. So let's do the right arrow. We'll put in the check grid, which is 32 by 32. Then go back to the move tab and move him to the right at a speed of 4. We'll throw in another event now, which is another keyboard event. That's the up key this time. And it's exactly the same. Check the grid and move him up at a speed of 4. And the last arrow key we'll push is the down arrow key. Check the grid, 32 by 32, and move him down at a speed of 4. Okay, the last one we want to put in there for the keyboard is the no key event. So when we press no key at all, we still need to check the grid to make sure our little man's inside that grid. And we're just going to say don't move anywhere. So when we're pressing nothing at all, we'll say stop and make our speed 0. That just stops him from moving. Next thing we might add to our little man is the collision with the wall. So when our little man hits the wall, we don't want him just to run straight over the top of it and leave the game. We want to stop him and keep him inside that maze. So let's add in an event, and it'll be a collision with the wall. And we do basically the same as the no key event. We make a 32 by 32 check grid, go back to the move tab and just tell him don't move anywhere. When we hit the wall, he stops still. Okay. The same thing's going to need to happen when he hits the door, and also when he hits the rock. So I'm going to copy these actions. I'm going to highlight them by clicking on them and holding shift. I'll right click and copy them, or you can just press Ctrl C. And we're going to add in a collision with the door. I'm just going to paste those same actions in. So when we run into the red door, he's just going to stop still. He won't be able to walk his way through it. And we'll add an event in, a collision with the rock. And we're going to paste those same things in. So when he hits the rock, he can't just walk on through it. He's going to stop completely still. It's just going to make a bit of a challenge in our game by blocking him off with those doors and rocks. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Another thing in our game that we can have a collision with is the finish line. And that allows us to change levels and allows us to finish the game. So when our little man here has a collision with the finish line, we've got a lot of things that need to happen. The first one's in the main 1 tab. We want to play a sound. Let's play some happy music that we've finished the level. Okay, we'll make loop false. Make sure you've got sound finish as your sound. After we play that happy sound, we need to check if there's another level to go to. So let's stay on this main 1 tab and press this button here, which is called check next. So if the next room does exist, or the next level does exist there, we want to go to it. So let's select this option here with the right arrow called next room. Just right click on that. Choose a transition, how it fades from one level to the next. I'm just going to choose the bottom one. I know it's a good one, the fade out and in. And when we get to level 3, there won't be a next room. There won't be a next level because that is our last level. So we need to tell GameMaker what do we do once we finished our last level. So go to the Control tab and select Else. I'm going to select this up arrow here because we're going to start a block of events. First event we want to do, let's go to the main 2 tab. We want to display a message that says, well done, you finished the game. And we'll click on OK. That's the first thing we'll do when we finish the game. We'll display a message. Second thing, in the Score tab, let's add a high score menu by clicking the 1, 2, 3 button just there. Don't change those settings, just click on OK. And finally, once our game's finished, we'll go back to main 2 and we will end our game by pressing the red button there. Just to close that block of events off by going back to the Control tab and pressing this down-shaped arrow. So that's a pretty large event there. Let's go through it one more time so you understand what's happening. What it says is when our little sprite man, so when our man hits the finish line, we're going to play a happy sound. Okay, so each time he finishes a level, a happy sound is played. After that, GameMaker will check to see if there's another level to go to, and if there is, we will go straight to that next level and start playing that. But if there's no more levels, so we're on the last level, what are we going to do when we hit that finish line? So we display a message, just a happy message saying well done. Then we show the high score table, so they can type in their high score, and finally they end the game, which will just shut your game down. That's a pretty big event, but if you break it down in step by step, it's pretty easy to understand. Another collision we're going to have with our man is with the bad guys, which are the ghosts. So let's add in a collision event with the blue ghost. When we hit the blue ghost, basically we want to play a quick sound. So let's go to our speaker here in the main 1 tab. We're going to play the sound of us dying. The loop will be false. And when we do hit a bad guy, we just want to restart the level. So go down to this up green arrow here that says restart room and choose a transition of how your level will fade in and out. And that's basically it. I'm going to copy that code there because what we can do is add in another collision event, but this time with the white ghost. And the same thing's going to happen, so just paste those actions in on the white ghost. When we hit the ghost, we'll have a sound of us getting hurt, and then we'll restart that level. Okay, that's almost all the collisions. We just got one more to go. If we look in level 3, when we have a collision with the trigger, basically when we push the trigger, what do we want to happen? We want to blow up this rock over here. Okay, we want to get this bomb to smash that rock to pieces, and we can work our way to the finish line. So let's add in one more event. It's going to be a collision with the trigger. Okay, once we click on that trigger, what we want to happen is for this bomb to turn into an explosion. Remember, we've got an explosion sprite that can be used. So what we press is this red and blue circle button here, which is called Change Instance. And what we want to do is change an object. We want to change the bomb. So choose Object Bomb, and we want to change it into the explosion. So we'll basically just delete the bomb from our game and immediately turn it into an explosion. And we want to say yes. We do want those events to be performed. So click on OK. Okay. The next thing we do after we've done that is play a quick sound of an explosion occurring. So in main 1 still, we play a sound of an explosion. And again, the loop will be false. The last thing we'll do is just destroy the trigger. Okay, so we'll choose our object that we'll destroy, and that's going to be the trigger. So as soon as we push the trigger, it will disappear as well. Okay, let's test our game so far. It's not quite finished, but we just want to see if our little man's moving, and we'll see if he's collecting diamonds. So we'll just take a second to load. Okay, there it is. We use our arrow keys. We can go right, we can go up. We can't collect the diamonds yet. We can hit the finish line though. Okay. This level we can't get through because we can't collect our diamonds, which means we can't open that door. Okay, it is solid. We can't work our way through it. Let's see if we hit this ghost if we die. We sure do. Okay, so far our game is looking pretty good. The next thing we might do is we might make these ghosts actually move. So let's click OK on this object man for now, and we'll open up object blue ghost. We're going to add in an event, and it's going to be a create event. So as soon as the little ghost is created and appears on your screen, let's tell him to move. And we're going to make the blue ghost move up and down at a speed of 4. We'll click OK. The last thing we'll put on this ghost is a collision with the wall. Okay. So when our ghost hits the wall, we simply want him to reverse his direction. So we choose this red arrow here called reverse vertical. Just click OK. And that just reverses his direction and he goes back the way he came. You will have to put this code onto the door as well, because I think the blue ghost does hit the door in level 2. So when he has a collision with the door, we'll just reverse his direction as well. Okay. If you've got in level 3 one of your ghosts hitting the rock, you'll have to do the same. Okay, you can't just go straight through the rock. So if he hits the rock, remember it's a solid object, you want him to swing around. Okay, we'll do exactly the same for the white ghost. This time though, when we create him, he's going to move left and right, and we're going to make it speed 5. So that's one step quicker than our little man, so he can actually catch up to our man if he's trying to run away from him. And then we just put in the collision events. So a collision with the wall first of all. This time he'll reverse his horizontal direction, so we click this arrow and click OK. The same goes for the door. He just reverses his direction. And a collision with the rock, the same thing will happen, just reverse his direction. So that has our ghost moving now. If we just test that again, we should have some moving ghosts. Okay, we still can't collect the diamonds, so they're not going to be collected just yet. We can go to the finish line. And as you see now, as soon as that ghost is created, he starts moving. Okay, and we can still die if we hit him. Okay, again I'm going to pause the video here as I am running out of time. I'm going to make a third and final tutorial video that shows you how to finish off this game. So I will see you in that video.